Greetings, friends. My name is Pavel Stelmach, and now we will dive in the top news of this day. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan proposed to create a commission to investigate the destruction of the Kakhovka HPP, with the participation of experts of the warring parties, the UN and the international community, in particular Turkey. Ukraine appreciates the specific actions of Turkey, the prevention of non-Black Sea combat units of the Russian Navy through the straits within the framework of the Monroe Convention, contribution to the launch and work of the Green Initiative, participation in the release of the command of the Azov Regiment from captivity, etc. But the creation of a multilateral commission, as well as negotiations with the terrorists, does not make sense. Russia still does not recognize the priority of international jurisdiction over national one. When it comes to finding out the truth, bargaining and compromise are inappropriate. Therefore, a joint commission with Russia will not be able to repeat the effective Green Deals. Russia is not interested in finding out the truth about its own terrorist attack on the dam of Kakhovka HPP, so Moscow's participation in the Joint Commission will be destructive and will not contribute to an objective investigation. Ukraine has enough evidence to prove the responsibility of Russia for blowing up the Kakhovka HPP in international courts. Instead, Russia, upon desire, can lay out the arguments in its defense in court. What is more, what kind of negotiations can we talk about with people who have not yet begun to evacuate the flooded areas? What negotiations can be had with those who, half a day after the dam was blown up, stand and say that there is nothing to worry about, when the central square of the city is flooded behind right dam? What kind of negotiations can be there with people who are sharing evacuation places, with those who caused the deaths of thousands of people, animals, plants and entire regions, cities, villages, ecosystems? Are you ready to negotiate with the killers? Personally, I don't.
There is no one left in the world today who does not see that Russia is ruled by savages. Savages who themselves are the biggest disaster on the planet today. Together with our partners, we must do everything for the world to prove that it can cope with such disaster, with such terrorists.
There are many examples when Russia deliberately falsified evidence of its non-involvement in crimes in Ukraine during the investigation of the downing of flight MH17, after the mass murder of prisoners in Olenivka, etc. Russia has not acknowledged responsibility for any of the crimes committed in Ukraine since 2014. Russia continues to blame Ukraine for the destruction of the dam of the Kakhovka HPP, and to make the theory seem more plausible, they are again actively spreading the information that Ukrainians have something to do with the explosions on the northern streams. For example, the Washington Post published a material with an investigation into the leaked information of Jack Teixeira, claiming that Valery Zaluzhny, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine, was responsible for the sabotage.
I am president and I give orders accordingly. Nothing of the sort has been done by Ukraine. I would never act that way. I didn't know anything, 100%. I said, show us proof. If our military is supposed to have done this, show us proof. Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine, in an interview with Politico.
But the blown up of Nord Stream is a Russian diversion, as indicated by a number of facts and investigations. The version about Ukrainian diversion of an rented yacht with explosives is ridiculous, and is aimed at amateurs. It is impossible to harm the gas pipeline in this way. The explosives were planted by special units of the Baltic Fleet of the Russian Navy, using special equipment during naval exercises that took place the day before in this area. Speculation in the Western media on the subject of Ukraine's alleged involvement in blowing up the Nord Stream is not new. This time they appeared at the time of the catastrophe at the Kakhovka HPP, apparently to distract the West from the Russian terrorist attack and sow doubt regarding Ukrainians. In addition, another material on the topic of Ukraine's involvement aims to sow distrust between Ukraine and its partners, between President Zelensky and Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhny. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Vershinin stated that he saw no prospects for the continuation of the grain agreement after July 2023. Oh god, this is not new. Moscow constantly comes up with reasons to challenge the functioning of the Green Initiative, bargaining for new preferences. This is the position of a blackmailer. Russia complains about the violation of conditions and disregard for Russian interests, while shelling the port of Odessa and causing enormous damage to the agricultural and port industries of Ukraine with its terrorist attack on Kakhovka HPP due to the huge flow of water pouring down the Dnieper after the explosion at the Kakhovka HPP dam. The largest river elevators in the south of Ukraine were damaged or completely destroyed. And I am not talking about the flooded fields and the dried ones, for which water was taken from the Kakhovka reservoir, but creating artificial obstacles to the traffic of ships from Ukrainian ports. Russia sabotages the Green Initiative, while ships from the Russian Black Sea ports undergo no inspections in the Bosphorus. Putin is once again blackmailing the world with hunger to achieve the goals of aggression. The Kremlin is trying to discredit Ukraine as being unable to ensure food security with regard to African countries. Earlier, Putin's spokesman Peskov announced the emergence of complications with the Green Agreement in connection with the blowing up of the Taliati-Odessa ammonia pipeline. According to him, it may negatively affect the continuation of this agreement. A representative of the Kremlin said that at the moment it is allegedly unknown what destruction has occurred. However, he emphasized that this ammonia pipeline was an integral part of the half of the agreement that affected Russia's interests. I will remind you that on June the 5th, the Russian occupiers shelled the Kupiansk district of the Kharkiv region, as a result of which a pipeline containing ammonia was damaged. At that time, it was reported about a potential threat to the environment and local residents. And on June the 6th, the Russian occupiers fired again at the ammonia pipeline in the Kupiansk district. This is another example of how Russians do not care about the environment and the disasters they can cause. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated and subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support really matters. Goodbye.